Hey, in this video, I am going to be showing you guys how to use this sales, market, and profit planning sheet so that you can track your not only your money but also your marketing. So we're going to first start with the sales tracking sheet. Now it's pretty basic, so I'm not going to go super in depth into it. Also, this is just the thing that I like to use. I know HoneyBook and some CRM softwares will allow you to track your inquiries and the process of them. But first of all, I never really go into CRMs, and second of all, I like that this I can put in my own questions because there's some things that don't that aren't tracked in HoneyBook that I want to be tracked, like how the sales call went and things like that. Okay, so first, you're just going to go in and just put in, the inquiry name, date, inquiry type, what was it they were inquiring for? Was it just branding, web? What was it? And then I think it's important, obviously, to put the inquiry source too, so you can see how good your referrals are coming from. If they're, you can see, oh, great, all my great inquiries are coming from Instagram or referrals. So then you can kind of know where to focus your stuff. Next is sales calls notes. This is where you get to note how the sales call went. I like to change the color of the box dependent upon how I felt. Obviously green is like, yes, it went really, really well. Yellow is like, it went okay, I'm not quite sure how it's going to go. And then orange and red is it going not so well. And then you can put some notes in there as well. And then your next box, you can put in potential opportunity. Now you can put a range in here of like, hey, I put in, it could be anywhere from 7 to 10K or 5 to 10K, or you can put in what you think it is they'll book, or just the highest. This can be whatever it is that you want. I tend to, because it's potential opportunity, I like to put whatever the highest number is that I booked, or maybe that that I sent in. And so, but you can kind of use this however you want, to see. Next is chance of sale. Now, some people might be asking, like, how do you know, Carly, what the chance of them booking actually is? I don't. This is just a gut feeling. It's a good way for me to test my gut and see, okay, maybe this sales call went really, really well. We had a big opportunity. I thought that there was a 90% chance of sale, but they didn't ever end up actually booking. That way I can go back and listen to that sales call and figure out, okay, what really did go wrong, because obviously I'm missing something here. But if I see something was like orange or red and then they didn't ever end up booking, I'm like, I kind of saw that from the beginning and didn't really think that they would book. Wasn't maybe whatever. But so I'm not like too concerned about it. This kind of helps you gauge where you feel like you are at with your sales calls. And then I just like to, what day was the proposal sent, and then what's the booking status? Have they booked yet? Have they yet not? What did they, and then what did they actually end up booking for? Now, lastly, over here by the goals, I like to keep this in here just on honestly all of my marketing, profit, sales, anything. I like to keep my goals right here so that I can see it really, really easily. Now, this is awesome because you can say, hey, like I want my goal to be, this is a smart goal planner. You say, I want my goal to be 200,000, or let's take that out, 200,000. Then you see how that updated to 29 clients a year. Let's say, okay, if I need an average booking of 15,000, how many clients then am I going to need in order to get that? Okay, that's 14 clients a year. That is 2 clients a month. Great. That way you can kind of see how you're doing in relation to your goals. Okay, now let's move on to the marketing tracking worksheet. Now, first we have this little part. So for me this year, I have $1 million year. I put my again, I like have my goals everywhere. Put my big goal up there, and I'm going to be putting that in here, and this is going to update as well. It's on every single one of these, but so yeah, put in your goal here so that you can kind of see it, and then you can see we've broken it down month by month by month. It's good to take one day out of every month, and just take one day and have a day where you can go through your numbers. Have that be your sexy number day where you get to go through your sales numbers, your marketing numbers, your profit numbers, and you get to track and see where things are. And so then you can kind of review every single month. That's how I like to do things. You can see I broke things down with the month for profit planning, in both areas of my profit planning. And you should do it with your sales as well. Make sure you didn't miss any sales if you don't do it right after. Okay, so let's say we're going with December. Now, I like to kind of note, what was the thing that I was working on in December. With every single month, I have things that I'm working on, like launch this, or put this on Evergreen, or try and get my Instagram up. Like, what was the one thing that I was kind of working towards each month? And I put that up at the project so that I can kind of note to see, like, oh yeah, that's why I was launching something. That's why my engagement and my followers was really, really up that month. Any notes to, this is my first time doing a webinar. This is my first time, like something that I want to note that just my effect numbers, or things that I might have questions about where I'm like, I'm not sure how this is going to go. Or, if you're launching something and then like I know I had a friend who was launching something and then in the middle of the Black Lives Matter movement, and so she had to stop the her whole launch. And so that's something that you want to note too, because that's going to affect sales and things like that. Like if big things like that happen where you're like, okay, that definitely affected sales, put that in the notes. Okay, and then next we've got a whole section for every single platform. I have on here just Instagram and Pinterest, but you can actually just copy the whole section right here, and then come down here and then paste it over again. If you have more platforms that you want to use rather than Instagram and Pinterest. So again, use this however you want. Okay, so first thing that you're going to update, and this is something that you need to keep track of when you are doing your marketing, is to keep track of how many hours you are spending. Now, there are lots of not Instagram, but Chrome extensions that you can use for hour tracking, but it is a tool that you definitely need to have in your tool belt, not just for figuring out your pricing, but figuring out, okay, where is all my time being spent, and how is my time being best spent? So let's say, I spent 20 hours this month working on my Instagram. That's creating content, that's networking, that's writing my captions, all of that. And sometimes, I'll forget, so I'll add in a few hours here or there, but write down how many hours you spent. Then I have a little note here to help you too, but what I want you to do is I want you to double click on this cell. You can see it's got the number 125 times B6. And I want you to change that 125 with whatever you feel is your hourly rate. Maybe it's $300, maybe it's $125, whatever it is. I want you to put in your hourly rate, or what you would, if someone were to pay you hourly to do Instagram, how much would you charge someone, right? So if I were to say, hey, I will do your Instagram, I would probably charge at least $500 an hour or something. And so then I can see, oh wow, okay, I spent technically $10,000 worth of my time doing Instagram. And so then I can see really quickly, oh wow, is that something I should outsource, or is that something I should keep doing? You can see really clearly, is this something that you are spending a good amount of time on? So be really honest here with what you would actually spend. If someone were to pay you for your time, how much would that cost? And put that in there. Then you're just going to update with, how many queries did you get from Instagram? And then how much profit did you get? Now I have a note in here too. Make sure to not put the revenue number from these inquiries or from the bookings. Don't put your total revenue. Put the amount of profit that you get in here. Because if you put in revenue, that's not excluding the expenses that it costs to, and we're going to talk about that here in the profit tracking, about how to figure that out. But that's not taking into account the things that you're spending in order to actually execute those bookings. And so it's going to look like you're getting a lot more money in ROI when you're really not. Okay, and then you are going to, and you just account for how many new followers and what your engagement percentage looks like. This is usually percentage, 5%, whatever it is your engagement is. And you can get this number, and you don't have to do percentage if you want to be like, hey, I got, however you want to track your engagement. If that's like, hey, I got this many comments, or, you could even have a whole section. You could add a section of like comments or DMs or saves or shares. However you want to gauge engagement, put that in there. Or if you want to have it be a percentage, I know the I Love Creatives tool that you can use to track social media has like an engagement percentage tool, which is basically just like dividing the average amount of likes that you get on a post and like dividing that by the amount of comments that they get. That's how they do it. But I think sometimes like I judge engagement by sharing and by DMs and things like that too. And so take that into account of how you want to track your engagement. What is the most meaningful metric to you? Okay, now let's say 5% or whatever. Okay, so now you have all of this in. This ROI sheet or thing is automatically going to calculate. Now, ROI is just, how much money you spent or time spent, how much money you spent divided by amount of I think that's the equation by like the amount of profit that you got. So how much money did you get back from investing that $3,000 into your Instagram? And you can see we got like a 300% increase, which is awesome. I looked up, what is a good ROI, and most businesses consider like anywhere from like 1 to 8%, like really, or I think it's 3 to 8% a good ROI. So digital businesses and online businesses have a history of doing a lot better ROI than regular businesses, just because it's all digital, and especially with social media and stuff. But really, this is just, it's not like, oh, wow, 300%, I should be at 700%, whatever. This is just to help you from month to month to month to be like, okay, wow, I'm really down this month. Why am I down this month? Or I'm really up this month. What can I keep doing? It's just a good number to see, how much time you invested and make sure you're kind of staying at a consistent number. Okay, so how to gauge this and what to do with this sheet. So if you are getting low engagement, this basically means that your posts are not clicking with people. Your engagement, I believe, and your inquiries are often tied. Engagement is basically just like people are saying, hey, I like this content enough to ask more questions, to want more, to comment on it. I have something else to say to this. Engagement is a great metric to see how well your content is actually doing. And so if you are getting a low engagement number on any of your content, this means, or anything in your social media, this means that you're not posting stuff that's relevant enough. You're not posting things in a way that feels like you're entering the conversation, to, how we talked about. And you're probably just like talking at them rather than with them. And so that's something that we definitely need to change. Okay, followers. If you're getting a low number of new followers every single month, this means your visibility is low. This could honestly, it doesn't just mean your visibility is low. It could mean a few things, but more often than anything, it means, we're not creating either shareable content or getting your name out there enough. And so we need to go back and create some kind of like exciting little metric, or not metric, but some exciting thing, like a launch or a series or something to get this up. Okay, and then inquiries. If you're getting a like high engagement but low inquiries, or high new number of followers but no inquiries, this means that you're not inviting people enough, often enough to sell, or they're seeing you as like a great person but not like a great expert, if that makes sense. Like, oh, she's fun to follow, but like they don't see you as someone who has the expertise and the trust in order to hire. Or it could just be simply like they don't know, they don't hear enough from you, enough invitations from you to buy, and so they don't. So a lot of times people have to be told to buy. So those are the two things that if you're getting low inquiries that I would work on. One, start inviting people more to buy, and two, try and show up more as an expert and show that yes, I'm a trustworthy person for you to buy from. Okay, so that's everything with the marketing tracking. Let's go to profit tracking and planning. Now, this is a great sheet to help you figure out each of your packages. This is kind of like getting into finance planning. But I like to put in all of my different packages in here. And if they change, and I like to change them from month to month too, because your prices are going to range, and it's kind of fun to track and see how your prices have changed. Now I have 2 different profit tracking and planning sheets on here that you can use. I personally use this one just for this stuff, just for this stuff all right here that I'm going to highlight. I don't really use it for the stuff down here. You can if you totally want. But I like to use both. So I like to use these because this one helps me understand how much profit that I get from each individual package. So sometimes, like, I've had times where I charge $20,000 or $80,000 for a package, but I had, so much overhead that I was making, and it was still like, it was a lot for me to manage those huge packages. But I was still making a, similar amount of profit, because I had so much overhead. I had assistants, I had photographers, I had other people I had to hire. And so it was just creating more work for me when I wasn't actually creating a ton of profit. Now, with this, your profit should be at least 50% or more. You don't want to be going below that 50% range. And I would even suggest saying that you're taking at least 50% of the profit home from each package, because this isn't taking in software, other marketing investments, growth investments, other things like that, that go into your profit as well. But this just helps me track, okay, how much profit am I getting with each package? So then when I, go in here and say, okay, well, I booked a package 1 and a package 3. That means I get, I'm not going to take from this 10,000 number. I'm going to take from this profit number, to put in here so I can see my ROI. So yeah, this is basically, you're just going to put in your package price, how many clients did you get from that? And then you can change this to whoever, if you have people hired for this. I have an assistant that I pay. She's, a graphic design assistant. That's how much I pay her for this package. My project manager gets $1,000 for this package. And then this is the total amount of revenue. And then, this is basically the, assistant plus PM put together. So how much does this package cost to actually do? It's $3,500. And then you can see right here, what the profit is. This is kind of just like an overview wrap up of that. And you can add or take away things that fit for you. Okay, now you can use this sheet though to say, if you want to do all of your profit tracking on here, you can say, okay, I got 3 of these clients this month. And then you can all of a sudden see, okay, that's how much profit I made from this, right? If you want to do that, you can. And then, put in your general expenses here. And this will automatically update with how many clients you got, your revenue, your expenses, your profit. And then it'll also have a yearly to date stat thing, and revenue and expenses and profit percentage and all that stuff. You can totally use that if you want. I like to use this sheet for that because it just feels a little bit more condensed. So I like to say, okay, I got 2 package 1 bookings, which is over here, and you'll update, what is the price for each package, and then what are the expenses for each package as well. So update that before you update anything, so that when you're updating these numbers, they correlate with these numbers. But you say, okay, great, this month, here's my goal. I want to make sure I get, 2 packages. And let's say in December, I got 3 of these packages, but 0 of these packages. Then everything will automatically update with, how much was your total revenue and your package expenses. Oops, and it's off on the right one, so that will update with the package expenses. And then the amount of profit that you get from that. And then another thing that you need to take into is like team expenses. If you already have that over here, you don't need to put that in there. But like I had a team member that wasn't correlated to packages. Like I just have, I had my assistant on retainer for $500 every month, no matter what, if we booked packages or not. So it would be like $500 plus the package expense. And then, what is if you have any like software expenses, things like that, add that together and put it in here. And then growth investments, this would be things like 10K GG or saving up for different programs, things like that. And marketing expenses, you can, if you want, put in the number that you got here. Or if you're paying for Facebook ads or even like a referral things, anything like that, put in here. And then this stuff will all automatically update with the number of clients that you got for that month, revenue you got, the expenses, and then the profit that you made from that. And then the yearly to date part of the sheet will also automatically update, how many clients do you have, revenue, expenses, profit, and then profit percentage. So yeah, that is how you use this little sheet. I hope this was helpful for you, and I hope to see you use this in the future.